How's it going, guys? It's your boy Random Tall Guy. Welcome back to the garage. Right now I'm working on the blue XJ's front drive shaft, and today I'm just going to change out the U-joints. Now for the last couple of months, basically the car was making this whining noise, this chirping noise, and I was trying to figure out what was causing that sound. I thought it was the bearings in the front, I thought it was the U-joint, I thought it was the drive shaft U-joint, so I changed them all out. But the car kept making this chirping noise. Finally, when I took the car off-roading over at 508 International, the sound got worse when it came back home. And I went ahead and I pulled out the drive shaft in the front, and it turns out that the noise stopped after I drove it for a couple of miles. So I'm just gonna go ahead and change out the U-joints. There's 3 of them right here. I'd rather do all of them one shot, just because all of them tends to go bad around the same time. Unfortunately, I didn't get the Spicer's U-joints because they were out, so I just got these, Mog U-joints, which is fine. The only thing I don't like is that it's greasable. I prefer the one that's not greasable, just because they're more heavy duty, and the Spicer's last like 20 years. So I'm just gonna work with what I have. I went ahead and already removed the retainer clip here. These came out fairly easy. So that's a big help. So I'm just gonna go ahead and press this one out first, and then I'll go ahead and do the rest right here. All right. Alright, I managed to take out the 2 caps. This one was fairly easy. Everything came out nice and smooth. It wasn't even a hassle, so that's good. And here is the old U-joint. It's kind of pretty beat up. Some grease is already coming out, so this thing is destroyed. So take that out. Now what I like to do is get some sandpaper and just clean it up a little bit. Also, I like taking a screwdriver and just cleaning the rim where the retainer clip goes. And for the most part, this drive shaft is pretty clean. I'm guessing it's because the front drive shaft doesn't get that much abuse like the back. All right, and as always, I like putting a little anti-seize so it doesn't get too stuck next time. Alright, so I managed to get the U-joint on the opposite side of this dry shaft. Now we're going to go ahead and replace these 2 U-joints up here in the front. Alright, so I'm going to start doing this one first and then this one next. I just need to make sure that this stays exactly how it is. I don't really want to rotate this and put this the opposite way, because it might throw the balance off, so it might cause vibrations when I'm driving on the road. So I'm just gonna try to keep it on the same side at all times. I'm just gonna mark it with a Sharpie to make sure that this side stays with this side. Alright guys, the yoke piece that connects this dry shaft to the transfer case is basically toast, is garbage. If we look inside here, there's no more needle bearings at all. So maybe this is the cause of the squeaking noise I was hearing. All right, so I'm gonna have to order another piece. This is something that you can't really order through like Advanced Autopods or AutoZone or Riley's. So I'm gonna have to order this online and then I can put it back. This is just the front drive shaft, so I can still drive the car perfectly fine. It's just I can't go off-roading until I get this resolved. It's not a problem. This piece alone is expensive though. It's like about 70 bucks for this little thing. But once I get it, then I can go ahead and continue and put them back together. Since I have the C-clamp here, I'm just gonna go ahead and just remove this final U-joint, at least get this U-joint in and settled. And then I'll worry about this part once I get that new part. Alright guys, I managed to get all the U-joints out. Here is the cardan, I think that's what they call it, cardan. And here's the drive shaft. Don't lose the little spring that's here. This is for the yoke that I'm ordering, so you don't want to lose this spring unless it comes with the other one. Apparently the boot comes off, so I didn't know that. And it looks like it's rubber and metal, so be careful, don't squeeze this too much. You don't want to break it and you end up having, you know, a new yoke and grease and grime keys get in and ruin the needle bearings again. So as I said, since I'm waiting for this yoke, I'm just gonna put the U-joints for this one, and then we'll pick up the project once the yoke comes in. Of course, I'm just going to take a screwdriver and just clean the little track where the retainer clip goes. Just want to make sure I get as much rust and gunk out of it. Of course, use some compressed air to just clean up. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and just put the U-joint for this one, and then once the part comes in, then I'll go ahead and install the other one, and then we should be good to put it back in the car. Alright guys, I managed to get both U-joints in, and I make sure that the cardan is facing the correct direction and everything looks fine. U-joint is moving freely and good. So now I'm just waiting for this piece to come in so I can finish this side, and then we can go ahead and install this in the car. Alright guys, I finally got the center yoke. Got it right here, brand new, and it's greased and everything. And I got it from Spicers, so we know this is a good part. Basically what we have here is a little center cap that keeps the bearings from moving, and it has a bunch of grease, and it also has another spring in here which we're gonna use for this one. So now we can finally go ahead and put everything back together. I'm just gonna go ahead and remove the old spring that's right here. I will no longer need this just because I have a new one. And let me go ahead and put that in. All right, brand new spring. We're gonna go ahead and just put it in the center here, just like the old one, and it's nice and greased. Now be careful, we have a bunch of needle bearings in here. We don't want them to move. We don't want to lose one because it'll premature this whole center yoke, and these things are pretty expensive for being this small. This cost me about 70 bucks, so you really don't want to contaminate this or lose it. And then we're gonna go ahead, line up our drive shaft and just position it in, and then it should be good. And there we go. All right, so we got the center yoke in. Now we can go ahead and put the last U-joint in, and then we can install this in the car. Alright guys, and I'm done installing all the U-joints. I double checked everything. I made sure the needle bearings are sitting correctly. Everything's nice and smooth. So now we can go ahead and install this back into the car. Normally putting this back by yourself is really annoying just because you have to hold both ends as you put the bolt and all that. So we're gonna try. All right, the axle yoke and the transfer case yoke is not lining up with the drive shaft, so I'm gonna have to rotate the axle yoke so it can match. All right, with the front axle up, I can go ahead and move the yoke as I want to. You see? Now I'm just gonna leave it like that for a moment and until I figure out how to put this drive shaft back with one hand. All right, so I managed to get the drive shaft in, the yoke right here in the diff, and the other side right here is just being held up by the cross member. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put the retainer and the bolts here first, so I can make sure this is secure, and then I can figure out how to push this into the transfer case yoke.
Vibing.
All right, so I got the front here all set. It's tight, it's perfect. Now I'm gonna go ahead and work my way around this end over here. Hopefully I can get the camera to show you what I'm doing. And, there we go. All right, now we can go ahead and put this on here. It basically is the exact same way. We're just gonna have to rotate the tire slightly. It's easier if you have two people, but I'm always by myself, so. Rotate a little more. You can also put the transmission in neutral, and that will allow you to move the transfer case. All right, it looks good. I guess we can put the bolts in and hopefully they align. They already have thread locker on it, so I don't need to apply anymore. And plus these bolts gets really stuck sometimes, so I doubt they're gonna wiggle themselves out of torque. Car's driving pretty good. Everything's working, no noises, no vibrations. The front drive shaft is quiet. Everything is quiet actually. Of course, my exhaust have like a small exhaust leak in the front, so you're hearing that little rattle noise, but that's fine. All right, guys, I'm gonna end the video here. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber, consider subscribing. I'm gonna be posting more videos on this car, obviously, because there's a few more repairs I want to do. So stay tuned for that. And as always, guys, any criticism, any comments, let me know down in the comment section below. Any parts I use, it's gonna be down in the description. All right, guys, have a good one. Bye-bye.